Heaven Official's Blessing. Chapter 38. Audio source: WuXiaWorldAudiobook.com. Admiring the flower through red clouds, a heart full of sympathy. Xie Lian was still staring at the young man in red. He wanted to say something, but under the gaze of numerous pairs of eyes, and the unreadable expression on Hua Cheng's face that didn't seem to show signs of recognizing him, Xie Lian debated whether if he should act so familiar with him. Instead he said, "Thank you." Why thank him? This place is owned by him. He probably had malicious intentions since the beginning, Lang Qianchu said. Xie Lian replied under his breath, "Your Highness, let's stop talking and call it a day." If they were to continue, he really didn't know what would come out of Lang Qianchu's mouth. Especially with the mission at hand, Xie Lian couldn't afford to stay long. He looked at Hua Cheng a couple more times and pushed Lang Qianchu towards the exit. Just as he did so, Hua Cheng's voice called from behind him. "Wait a minute." Xie Lian halted his step and turned around. The chatter among the crowd started again. "That's right, my lord, we can't just let them leave like this. That guy's suspicious. He looks to be quite powerful and is probably hiding something. If you ask me, we should keep him here and interrogate him." "Exactly. Who knows who sent him to cause trouble in our world?" That last sentence almost stopped his heart. They really did come from the heavens, but the intent wasn't to cause trouble, only quiet probing. Xie Lian wasn't sure if Hua Cheng had saw the spiritual light that Lang Qianchu had released before, and he wasn't 100% certain Hua Cheng would let them go if he did see. Xie Lian was growing increasingly anxious, but the tone Hua Cheng spoke in was laid back. "Shouldn't you leave the prize?" Xie Lian was lost. "Prize?" Lang Qianchu put himself in front of Xie Lian and said cautiously, "Are you going back on your words now?" But Xie Lian thought, if San Lang would never go back on his promises, could he have meant something else? And with that, he stepped out from behind Lang Qianchu and asked, "But didn't I already win the bet?" "Hua Cheng, it's true that Gerger had won against me just now, but don't forget, you've lost a round before." Xie Lian was surprised. "But you said not to worry because it didn't count?" Even though it took some really thick skin to say something as embarrassing as, "It doesn't count when I lose, and it only counts when I win," Xie Lian still said it. Hua Cheng replied, "Of course the ones that were bet against me didn't count. What I'm referring to is the first round that you gambled at the long table." It was then that Xie Lian finally remembered. Hua Cheng was talking about that time when he wanted to test out the lowest he could roll and had ended up throwing out a double six instead. Lang Qianchu whispered, "I told you he didn't have good intentions and wouldn't let us leave here that easily. I won't get sealed again this time." Seeing that he was readying himself for another fight and was eager to jump up at the chance, Xie Lian pulled him back and persuaded, "Don't worry, we don't need to use our fists." On the other end, Hua Cheng tilted his head. "How about it, Gerger? Do you admit your loss? If one was willing to gamble, then one should also admit to their loss honestly." There were no other options, so Xie Lian nodded. "I admit." Hua Cheng extended his left hand with an open palm. "Then, give me the prize like you promised." The prize that he promised. After some hesitation, Xie Lian reached into his left sleeve with his right hand, felt around, and fished out a half-eaten bun. Unable to look at Hua Cheng in the eyes, he toughened up his skin and presented it. "You mean this, right?" Truth to be told, when he took out this bun, Xie Lian felt the thick skin he'd grown through his 800 years crumble a little, unable to hold up. The ghosts and demons in the hall were speechless and only watched in silence. Never mind that it was the Lord's first time betting against someone, and when the bet came to be a half-eaten bun, they thought it was a joke. But to think, in all seriousness, the Lord had actually pursued the person to ask for this bun. Speechless. There was really nothing to say. There are some demons that even had a more absurd thought: either there's some sort of enormous secret hidden within this bun, or this person was actually the Lord's older brother. Yet Wacheng grinned as he received the bun, gave it a look and waved it around in his hand. I've claimed this prize. To see that he actually took it, Xie Lian didn't know what to say. It was only after a good minute that he responded. It's cold, and maybe a little hard. Wacheng replied, that's okay. I don't mind. Since he answered like this, Xie Lian had nothing more to say to continue the conversation. He already said all he could, so he turned around and headed towards the exit. The nether crowd at the gambler's den all parted for him as he departed. When he first went forward, they parted for him thinking he was a brave warrior. Now, they parted for him with fear and suspicion. After walking for a few steps, he could hear the demons behind him ask, my lord, where are you going now? Wacheng lazily replied, I'm feeling good today. I'm heading to the Paradise Manor. Hearing his response, the hall erupted in cheers as if it was New Year's. Xie Lian couldn't help but take another glance back and saw that Wacheng had also turned around. With that half-eaten bun still in his hand, he gave it a light toss and casually took a bite out of it, looking in Xie Lian's direction. Xie Lian paused in his tracks when he saw that scene play out. Suddenly, for some reason, he felt that he shouldn't stay there any longer, and picked up his pace, grabbed Lang Qianchu, and ran out. The two left the gambler's den and ran like madmen for a long time, almost knocking over various food stalls along the way. Just when they had finally arrived at a small quiet alley, Shi Qingshan also popped up and reunited with them. Shi Qingshan fanned himself with such vigor that his hair flew wildly in the wind. That was so close, so close. My God, that scared me to the point that my face was almost as white as a ghost's. Perhaps it was that they ran too hard that Xie Lian's heart was also beating crazily. Lang Qianchu spoke up. Yes, Lord Wind Master, I think your face is still very pale right now. Shi Qingshan felt his face and smiled. Is that so? Ha, this is not because of fright. This is what I'm born with. Ahem. Aem. Qianchu, you're also a martial god. How could you be so impulsive? We're in the middle of the Ghost Realm territory here. If you were to be caught and exposed, and news of undercover heavenly officials in the Ghost City had gotten out, how would we explain this to the Heavenly Emperor? It would destroy peace in the three realms. Lang Qianchu bowed his head and admitted his mistake. I'm sorry, I rushed in too carelessly. Then he raised his head. But those gamblers were crazy. If that man had flipped open the cup, whether if he had lost or won, the outcome would still be bad. Either his daughter would suffer or he would suffer the consequences. It was in my moment of anger that I crushed the cup. Shi Qingshan replied. Even so, you shouldn't have jumped in by yourself. Lang Qianchu was taken aback. Then Lord Wind Master, what should I have done? If I didn't go in, there wouldn't be anyone who would. His plead was so genuine that Shi Qingshan didn't know how to respond, and tapped his fan lightly against his temple. Well, Xie Lian smiled softly. Let's leave it. Lang Qianchu looked at him. Xie Lian continued. I think even if His Highness Taiwa was to get caught and interrogated, he still wouldn't reveal his identity. But to prevent others from picking up any clues from your words, it'd be best for your highness to stay cautious and avoid capture going forward. Lang Qianchu nodded. Okay, I understand. Shi Qingshan. Alright, let's not talk about this anymore. Oh right, your highness. Hearing your highness, both Xie Lian and Lang Qianchu turned around at the same time, and Shi Qingshan clarified. Oh, I meant the elder. Xie Lian thought woefully. Elder. It's true that I'm a little older, but not by that much. Why is it that when it comes to me, it always sounds like they're referring to a grandpa? Shi Qingshan continued. Your Royal Highnesses, have you two met each other at the Great Martial Hall? If not, let me introduce you. This is the Crown Prince of Yang'an, Lang Qianchu, Martial God of the East. This is the Crown Prince of Xianlu, Xie Lian, a heavenly official that's highly regarded by the heavenly emperor. Even though Shi Qingshan stopped himself and didn't say the words, Xie Lian knew exactly what came after. What else could it be other than picks up scraps? Since the words were abruptly swapped in mid-sentence, there was no time to adjust the grammar nor the pronunciation. Lang Qianchu looked at Xie Lian, asked in astonishment, "So you're the prince that ascended thrice?" It seemed that Lang Qianchu had really slept through the entire meeting at the Great Martial Hall the last time and didn't even remember who he was. If he was anyone else and said the same thing to Xie Lian, then it would, no doubt, be sarcastic. But, because the question came from Lang Qianchu, Xie Lian wholeheartedly believed that this child truly thought ascending thrice was a rare occurrence. His eyes twinkled. "Yes, that would be me," Lang Qianchu responded. "That incident just now, thank you for helping me. Or else." He suddenly remembered something and hurriedly tightened up his waistband. Fear still lingered on his expression. He clearly didn't think too much about the past history between the Xianlu Kingdom and the Yang'an Kingdom, and turned to Xie Lian. "Your Highness, I thought that Crimson Rain Sought Flower knows you? How come he acted as if he didn't back there?" Lang Qianchu finished tying up his waistband. "That was the real Crimson Rain Sought Flower, right? Was that his true form?" Xie Lian didn't even have the time to open his mouth and Shi Qingshan already spoke. "How can it be the true form? Hua Cheng has thousands of disguises. Who knows what his true form looks like? Last time when I went to the Banyu Pass, he looked similar to the appearance today, but it's probably a disguise. It's fake, all fake." Yet Xie Lian clearly recalled that Hua Cheng had told him, "The next time we meet, I'll greet in my true form," that night at Puqi Shrine. He thought to himself, "It's real." But of course, he didn't say it out loud. Everyone was so sure that Hua Cheng must be wearing a fake skin, and him being the only one who knew it was Crimson Rain Sought Flower's true form was like learning of an extraordinary little secret. He then continued that train of thought, seeing San Lang's appearance. He really doesn't look that much different from before, only slightly older and taller. That means, technically, he was pretty much in his true form the first time I met him. Strangely, Xie Lian felt a little happy. Shi Qingshan added from the side, "People say that Hua Cheng is a strange character, and that really seems to be the case. It's obvious that he was going easy on you, and yet he pretended not to know you. Who knows what he's up to? Could it be that he wanted to catch us off guard?" Xie Lian choked. It seemed that anyone could tell Hua Cheng had gone easy on him back at the gambler's den. He went easy on him, was what people were saying, but truthfully, Hua Cheng literally just let him win one-sidedly. Lang Qianchu was the only one who couldn't tell and frowned. Went easy on him? Why? The other two patted him on the shoulder and decided it was best not to explain it to him. They left Lang Qianchu standing by himself, wondering why Hua Cheng would go easy on Xie Lian and whether or not the two knew each other. Xie Lian and Shi Qingshan turned and started walking. "It seems that we have been exposed. What should we do now?" Xie Lian said. "Change our disguises and try again? Personally, I don't think doing that will change anything. With His Highness Taiwa's fight back there, Ghost City will probably strengthen their security." Shi Qingshan replied, "To be honest, I have considered the possibility of us getting exposed, but I never thought it would happen this soon." Xie Lian sighed. I know. What's done is done," Shi Qingshan said. "Since our covers are blown, you might as well just walk in confidently and do this openly." Xie Lian could probably guess what he had meant by openly. As expected, Shi Qingshan explained, "If we still want to continue on lying, then you're the only one who can do it. Go find Hua Cheng and tell him that you came here especially to see him. He knows that you're a heavenly official, right? If so, then it's pretty believable to say that you've brought a couple of friends from heaven with you." End chapter.